as well?
Yes.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, nice to meet everyone. My name is Carman Chan. I'm currently a lighting artist at Sony Animation Image Works, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. We're very
I
excited.
hope the audio is okay.
It's good, yes.
It's better.
Way
Yes.
better.
So, a little bit about me. A little bit about me. I'm a lighting artist, currently a Sony Pictures Animation, and I've worked on projects such as Transformers Earthspark for Nickelodeon, Wandla for Apple TV, and latest K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix. I graduated from Emily Carr University in Canada in 2022, and I've been in the 3D animation industry for 3 years now. Before graduating or entering the industry, though, I used to post digital art online, but we could talk about that later. So I'll just go through like a little quick table of contents, I guess. I'm gonna show my demo reel in a bit, and then I'll get to my overall experience and my day-to-day, and then I was given a few questions, so I answered them very generally, and then we could go for a free-for-all Q&A,
Good.
if that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep, that was it. And okay, here, because I can't show any of the clips from the movie yet, I just have a bunch of screenshots of other shots that I worked on at my latest project.
Wow.
Yes, and
Cool.
then my overall filmography. This is everything I've worked on in my 3 years so far. And going into my experience. So, 2018, I graduated high school. I was originally supposed to follow more of a science slash medical career path until I last minute got accepted into an art school, so I decided to dip. Um,
Great.
and then in those 4 years, COVID happened. So, I spent 4 years kind of at home, learning 3D animation, graduate, and then I got my first project at Icon Creative Studio in Vancouver, Canada. And I will say all the clips you saw in that first reel is everything I did in Icon. I've basically only been in two studios, Icon and the Sony. Um,
Crazy
and that
lineup.
was the reel that got me hired at Sony. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was gonna say like crazy lineup, crazy flex. Okay.
Yes. Yes, very crazy. It's a very wild few years, I will say. And then just last year, I was reached out to, and I got hired for K-pop Demon Hunters, which leads to now. And I'm currently working on Sony's next project called Goat.
I've heard of that. I'm looking forward
Yes.
to it, honestly.
Have you seen the trailer?
Yes. Sorry. It it looks really good. Good. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you. Also, I apologize if my cat is a little noisy. I don't know if you heard anything yet.
No.
Yes, so a little bit into my education and background. I was originally, um, in high school, I basically studied all sciences only. until I decided to make the switch very last minute. And Emily Carr as a university, I'm not sure how well known it is outside, but it's not a very technical school. So I was taught very much more on the subjective kind of meaning of art as opposed to the technical skills for the job. So when I first got my job, I practically knew nothing, quite honestly. Um, During my time in Emily Carr, though, just to gain any kind of experience, I was posting art online, took commissions to support myself, and also just to platform and network. But yeah, during my time at Emily Carr, I learned that I suck at animating. I did not like any of that kind of pipeline or workflow at all, which is very crazy considering that's all I knew that the industry was and what Emily Carr taught. It wasn't until like my third year of university that I found um, an extracurricular course almost that taught me my current job, which is lighting and compositing, which is weird. I don't know why they put it as a extracurricular course anyway. But yes, I did not get any internships, so all of my jobs were just right out from the gate. No one knew me, I knew no one, and I just dived right into it. It was a rough time to be hiring as well at the time. Yeah, I'm not sure how every school works, but my personal school, we instead of internships because of COVID, we had industry nights where industry professionals would come in, talk to students, and students would get to have their portfolios reviewed. And that was when I first talked to a member of Sony, and I fumbled that really badly because I got my website links messed up. And it was supposed to be for Spider-Verse 2 as well, so they forgot about me after I messed things up. But we made it back. It's okay. Yeah. So because I fumbled Sony very badly, I got accepted at Icon Creative Studio instead. And in during my time there, two significant projects I think helped me a lot in just being able to market my skills. There's Transformers Earthspark and then Wandla. They're both shows on very opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of style. There's Earthspark, which is very cartoonish style, very 3D, 2D, 2.5D almost. And then Wandla, which is almost hyper realistic while trying to keep like a cartoonish look. So I think those two are my strongest, um, very important shows in my experience. And I stayed with Icon for 2 years, 2 wonderful years, got to meet many lovely people until I got laid off and rehired in the same week, and which I left for Sony then. And here we are today, still with Sony. So what exactly do I do? I'm in charge of lighting, rendering, and compositing. That means I work in a 3D program, I position lights, and I render the light passes and take them into another program and put the light passes together, as well as any extra effects that I need, and then integrate them and make it look united and cohesive with everyone else's sequences. So a day-to-day in my job is, okay, every studio's processes and tools are very different, which means your job is going to be very different. But for the most part, it's two stages. You have lighting and rendering, and then compositing, which is, as I described, you work in a 3D space program, and then you bring it into a compositing program, like Nuke or Premiere. And then after that's basically just rinse and repeat until you get the art director happy. And then here we are at portfolio interview advice. I was given some questions by Elaine. I'm not sure if you guys want to start this Q&A session like this, or if I should just continue with my advice from those questions.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start with these, and then we can give people like a couple minutes to be thinking about any questions they might have. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and like answer those.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I was asked about just general portfolio advice. I will say always start with your best work, not your favorite, as much as it hurts your soul. If you could love that shot, but it could not be, it could be just not objectively the best sometimes. So my general advice would be to think about think about from the perspective of a hiring manager, if you had to go through thousands and thousands of videos, what would catch your attention, like from the start, right? Even if you don't have a lot to show for it, you can always show your process, and that in itself can be interesting to hiring managers. And another thing that I would advise on is not to just focus on characters. It's great. Characters are lovely. We love characters. But this applies to every part of the pipeline, both 2D and 3D, I would say, even in illustration work. Don't just focus on characters. They're great, but it's always good to include other parts like environments, props, effects, and everything in between. And this is just a little tip from me. Try to make your interviewer laugh at least once if you get that. And that's usually a good sign. Yeah. Right. Now, breaking into the industry, be adventurous. Don't be afraid to be cringe. We're all nerds here. I think it's just a little hard to see because some people are older, so they aren't chronically online posting cringe, but we're all nerds. So we accept everything. Uh, people skills are another one. I think they're often not very highlighted for students and newcomers into the industry. It's almost as much of a social skill, social job, socializing job, as much as it is a technical one. So just learn how to talk to people, and people will kind of like you for that, honestly, because they know that you work well with the team and you could talk with other people. And a huge one, I would say, don't be afraid to not know something. Industry is always changing. That means everyone is always learning something new, including seniors and art directors, everything above. And finally, I think a good part of the fulfillment and joy of the work is the love. So it's very important to be clear that this is a line of work that you want to do. And with that, that concludes my quick presentation.
That was all really great advice at the end. It was very hopeful. We've had some speakers, and I love all of our speakers, but some speakers are just like, oh, I'm gonna like be real with you. The art industry sucks. Like, guys, it's so hopeless. But this was like a pretty optimistic presentation.
Right,
So thank
right.
you.
Even my goats can fumble,
Yes.
but we make it back. Right.
Yes. I will agree. It's not, I can't like say in good conscience, it's a great industry to constantly, um, how do I say this? To to just kind of constantly recommend to people without warning. So we love to see new people. Don't get me wrong. We love to see it, but we cannot lie about every other like issue with the industry as it is right now. It's still a very new industry. It's still a very changing industry, which is why we need more like regulations, I guess. But yeah, don't lose up. Don't lose hope. If it's something you really, really want to do, it will find your way to it. Yes.
Those are beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you.
Oh,
Does anyone in the audience have some specific questions for Carmen?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess like working as a concept artist or storytelling or like a storyteller with my art has been like something that I've really wanted for a while now. And I was wondering, specifically with Sony, what do you think it was that like how did they reach out to you in the first place? And like what do you think it was that like made your portfolio stand out the most?
Interestingly though, they hired me knowing I knew nothing about their main program. Never touched it in my life, never learned it, never had a chance to even open it, you know? It's called Katana. I use it now every day for work, but at the time they hired me knowing fully well I did not know anything, and we were 3 months away from finishing K-pop Demon Hunters. So I assume it's because I marketed myself in a way that they figured I can learn quickly. So yeah, I think that's a huge thing, a different kind of perspective to think about when you're going out looking for jobs is you're just trying to market yourself. Now sorry, what was the second half of your question? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, I had originally said like what was it that like made the portfolios stand out the most to Sony, or like just like how they reached out. So yeah, that probably does answer it.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
I have kind of like a follow-up to that. How was it learning a completely new program with like an assignment that was like due in 3 months?
Okay, so Sony is a very resourceful company, and they're always willing to help you learn. So I'll be so honest, I think they forgot to put me down as somebody who didn't know what they were doing. So when I first got to orientation in the first 5 days, I was like, I have a lot of questions. Can you help me? And they're just like, have you never done this before? I'm like, yeah, I did the interview and told them I did not know anything. And they're like, oh my gosh, they did not say that. Anyway, here you go. Here's some extra resources for you. But yeah, they completely forgot that I did not know anything. But um, continuing off of that, they always do a 5 day orientation for newcomers because even if you were able to access Katana outside of Sony, they have way too many custom tools that it's almost its own entirely new program within Sony. So you do have to learn it if you've never been at Sony before. Yeah.
Mhm. Other
So I had
questions?
5 days to crunch a whole new program. Yes.
Okay, we'll go, yeah, front to back, so if you want.
Oh, okay. Hi, thank you for the presentation. That was really helpful. So I know that you, like, within the pipeline, you're a lot later on. I'm interested in doing like pre-production, biz dev. And so I was just wondering, do you ever like interact with pre-production work at all? And then is it helpful or beneficial at all to look into learning programs like Nuke or Houdini, etc. if you're not looking to become like a comp or lighting artist, as just to have that knowledge and to think about that while you're doing pre-production work?
Oh, always. So something interesting about pre-production is that it's a very um limited spot, I would say. There's very limited spots for those kind of positions, I will say. But you also have to remember that a lot of the people who are now viz dev artists, pre-visualization, just what's it, concept artists, they all started out at like a much later, smaller part of the production, right? They have to know all the parts that everyone else is doing before they can tell them what to do, if that makes sense. So as a concept artist, as a visualization artist, it's always a good extra tool, extra knowledge to know how the people down later in the line are going to have to make your image work. It's always a good tool to have, right? Because if you're drawing something absolutely insane and you have Houdini artists that are just like, this doesn't compute, the computer doesn't understand it, how are you going to work, right? How's that going to work? So it's always good to have like that baseline knowledge of almost every part of the pipeline. Which is actually a good thing to throw back in Emily Carr. Emily Carr would force us to make a short film for our third and fourth years. And in forcing us to make a short film, we were forced to learn every single part of the pipeline from pre to post production. And we had 1 year to do it all, and it was absolutely insane. But I'm very grateful for all of it because now I understand why like parts of the pipeline above me are maybe taking a while or whatever. Yeah.
Were you proud of your short films that you made? Like those
At the
2 years?
time, yes. Now looking back at them, God, they were so rough.
Okay.
Understandable.
Other questions?
Mm.
Yeah. What would you say like your work life is like? Like, is it very like independent or is it like social? And do you feel like fulfilled by it?
Sorry, can you repeat that question one more time?
Yes. This way.
Go project.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your presentation, by the way. I was wondering what your work life is like. Like, is it very independent or is it very social? And do you feel like fulfilled by it?
Yes. I will say at the start when I first graduated Emily Carr, I was more of an independent person because I was extremely introverted. I just thought if I stuck my head down into the computer and didn't talk to anyone, that's all they needed of me. As long as I get paid, I'm happy, right? But it does take a toll on you, I think, mentally, subconsciously, whatever. Just stuck at a computer all day. And then I do think it's very important to have a life outside of work, just for your own general health. Like for me, back when I was still in school, I was so focused on work all the time. I had a flare up in my wrists where I was just physically unhealthy at that point. So like even putting aside social, emotional, all that, physically it was taking a toll on me where my wrists were just not working. So I do think it's important to take a break. Like for me now, I consider myself quite balanced. I have a social life. I have friends that drag me outside, and uh, I participate in some physical activity, which helps general health. And yeah, I feel pretty balanced by that. Very happy. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, great answer. Yeah, up front if you want to ask a question.
This one artist I follow, so he basically made a post that says along the lines of like, if you're not like already in an art education and you want to become and you want to go into an art field, then you need to be prepared to like basically give up on your normal education and just focus on grinding art, like skip classes, skip homework, basically sacrifice all that just to practice your art for high risk, high reward kind of thing. And then so I want to ask you, like, did you ever have that sort of mindset when you were like in high school? And then like what is your stance on this sort of
To give up social life just to grind out art, to show like what I've done on my resume? Is that the question?
It's more so to give up like non-art education.
Give up everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Originally,
No, I kind of disagree on that because, as I mentioned, I come from an early science background, and I still enjoy science. I still very much enjoy science, math, STEM. I love listening to my STEM friends talk about their nerd stuff while I talk to them about my nerd stuff. It's very important. Art and science are quite intertwined. And not to mention, just okay, personally, I'm in a 3D industry, right? We're always talking about tech, upcoming tech, AI, um, threats of AI, uh, and just coding. We're all so nerdy. We love mixing industries and also just different parts of life. And that includes science, math, arts, English, everything. It's so important, especially because if you want to be inspired by things, you look outside of just art, right?
Great answer.
So
Yay.
yeah.
Cool. Any more? Okay, I will be making my way to the back eventually. I'm so sorry.
But I wanted to ask, since you did work on the K-pop Demon Hunters movie and I'm a huge fan of it, I did want to ask, is there any Easter eggs that you had in there that you really liked or that you could share with us? Just little tokens, because animation is very purposeful. There's almost nothing accidental in it.
Did you hear that?
I just heard, is there any Easter eggs in it? I'm not sure if you're implying if I put any Easter eggs in it, which the answer is no. But there are a few things. If you look at the animators of this movie, or been on Twitter at the time, they post their little animation references, and from those you can see little tidbits here and there. My favorite thing I would say from the movie was there's this one guy in the crowd where he's just really feeling himself during Golden, and he's all like, "Oh," you know. That's my favorite little Easter egg tidbit. Yeah.
Really quick follow-up. What's your favorite
Yes.
song?
My favorite song. Ooh, okay. Probably what it sounds like. I've been listening to that a lot recently. Yeah, that and Free. Those are would be my top two.
I feel like Hopecore.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more questions.
Hello. Could you talk about a little more about what you do as a lighting and compositor? Like, are those two separate things, or like are they kind of integrated with each other? Or like, do you use 2D or 3D programs?
So question is, do I use 2D and 3D programs together? And if I use them for,
Yeah, the question was kind of like, what's the difference between like lighting and compositing? And yeah, whether or not you use 2D programs more often or 3D for each of them.
Right. If you could like
okay,
a little bit more about maybe the technical stuff as well.
yes, of course. So just to explain the whole process, I guess, I could have an object here, right? 3D object, but if it has no light, then the entire screen is just black, right?
Hold on. Could you maybe stop your screen share so we can like
Oh,
we're kind of in the corner right now. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
okay. There we go. Okay, so to explain lighting, I guess in 3D, if I have my fist here, it's a 3D object, right? If I cover up all the lights available around me, you would see black, completely black. My job is to put the sun there and position the sun in a way that makes my fist looks pretty, right? That would be a light pass. The sun is one light. I could have the environment as another light. And I would take light and sun, and it basically comes out as a layered image, which is a more technical term, but it's something that you learn when you get into this kind of job more. There's different versions of that. But the point is, I take these layers of light, bring it into a second program called Nuke, which is a compositing program. And it takes these layers, and then I could just dial them until it looks correct. Yeah, so in 3D program, in the first 3D program, it could be Nuke, Katana, Cinema 4D, Blender, and I just position a light, render out the image with the light passes, and then take it into a second program, Nuke, Premiere, whatever, dial, and that's my job. Yeah.
Other
Wait. Sorry.
No, follow-up questions are good.
Well, yes, follow
No,
up.
go on.
Like how much of that fine-tuning afterwards is like from the creative direction? How do you receive that feedback? And then how much of it can be like up to your interpretation?
So this depends on the studio. Icon, unless I was like a senior kind of position, I would not be able to have much input in it because I'm working for clients who have a very strict Bible library for whatever they want their show to look like. So I can't really stray off from that. But this depends on the studio. Sony, however, encourages creativity a lot. I've had a shot recently where I was able to have a bit more creative liberty on it, and it made it through. I was able to do like a small effect that they liked, and then yeah, they always encourage it. If you have something to add, as long as it doesn't stray off too far from the director's vision, they are almost always encouraging you to add something into it. Yeah, as long as it stays on track and time, they're happy to have it.
Wow. Other questions? I think there was some in the back.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I have a couple questions. So first, when you're like working on a scene, this is something I've like always wondered, I guess. When you're like working on a scene with other artists, is it like, and you have to like make a cohesive scene, is it like harder because, you know, like artists tend to have different art styles, so how do you make sure like everything flows together in that like visually?
That would be the art supervisor's job. We basically kind of have a little bit of a pyramid going on. We have the art supervisor on top. He has a senior artist below him that reports right back to him. Senior artist has mid artists, and then mid artists have junior artists or associate artists. I'm off the lower end right now, but at my previous studio, I was more mid-level, so I would have a little bit more involvement, but still not very much as a senior would. So the senior is in charge of establishing the general look for this environment. Our jobs as juniors and mids are supposed to follow, and we're basically copy pasting whatever his work is and then adjusting it to whatever new inputs we put in, as in like the scene rendering, right? The character could be the same, but it's in a different position, so we just render a new position for it with the same lights, that the senior artist set up, and then our job is to just match it or enhance it for whatever the story beat is. Yeah.
This is like kind of a personal question. But obviously like K-pop Demon Hunter is very successful. I've seen the movie countless times. Just like what was it like for you, like seeing your work everywhere and seeing like how much people love the movie?
The first night, seeing everyone's reception to it, I won't lie, got a little emotional because it was my very first film. Previous to K-pop Demon Hunters, I've only been on kids shows, so it's wild to me that within 3 years of my career, I was able to work on my first film, and with one of my dream studios at that. So that was a moment. Um, Secondly, it's just kind of insane. None of us, I'm gonna be so honest, no one on the team was expecting that kind of reception, Maggie included. We really mean it when it's still mind-boggling. We still talk about it in our chats to this day. We're still active in that chat, even though the whole project is closed right now. How like new things are popping up, new ramen cups are showing up in everywhere across the world. And we're just like, this is insane. What's everyone doing? This is just a K-pop movie for us. What's happening? Yeah.
So just like when it comes to lighting and compositing, um, what would you, is it like split pretty evenly between how long it takes, or is it like lighting takes longer and then compositing is shorter, or is it like one takes more time than the other?
I would say they're quite balanced. Uh, Lighting is just about getting physically the right, like the light to look correct and match up with other shots. Like imagine if you have like a face-on shot of me, right? And in one scene, the light's coming from here, in the other scene, it's coming from here. That doesn't make sense. So lighting is really just making sure things are technically, objectively correct. Compositing, on the other hand, is where a lot more subjective decisions are made, where the fine tuning takes a lot longer or could take a lot longer, because that's where things are a bit more flexible for a director to tell you to change things around. Like if you just want to tweak a color of like my hair or something, that could be a very easy fix done in Nuke.
Hello, Carmen, it's Carmen. So you were saying in your early years you were more STEM focused, and that was kind of what you were going to go into, but then you said at like the last minute you got into art school and you shifted. I feel like that was like a major decision that you made at that time in your life. So I was wondering like what made you go for that, and like how you were feeling in that moment, and just like what that whole decision was like.
Well, I was a young teen at the time, so I was very emotionally driven in that I wanted to do what I wanted to do and not what, say, like family wants me to do. So another thing was I knew I was good at STEM, but I also very much knew I wouldn't be great. I was surrounded by a lot of STEM peers who were excellent people, excellent jobs right now, doing great at school. I knew I wasn't ever going to be one of them because while I can do the work, I wasn't ever going to push myself further than that. I was also very always like drawn to the arts from uh back in my day, from when I was a kid. Uh, and yeah, I'm very glad it turned out the way it did. I still like dabble in it sometimes. I talk to my sister, I talk to my friends about their time in STEM, love hearing about their new discoveries, their new things, just nerding out about old science stuff. Yeah, it hasn't left me. It's still fun.
Nice. Any more questions?
Other questions? One more.
I have one too, for your information.
Hi, I first want to say thank you for your presentation. And a question I have is related to the software used, the Nuke. And I was wondering, like, how long did it take to like get used to using that software? Because I've never used that software, and I was wondering, like, is it hard to use, or how long does it take to use it?
So the question is it hard to learn Nuke? Is that it?
Yeah. And also like how does it compare to other like compositing or lighting programs in terms of difficulty to learn?
Oh my gosh, I love Nuke so much. It is probably the easiest program I've learned in all my time learning like Maya, Premiere. It's so easy. It's because it's node-based. I'm not sure if anyone's worked with node-based programs before. So it's not a layered-based program, say like Premiere. Because when you work in layer-based, you kind of have to unlayer each time if you want to get to something deep, right? Nuke is a bird's eye view of everything you're doing. So it goes as a tree. It's a little hard to explain without a visual kind of. Let me see if I can find something actually, just really quickly to share. But yeah, Nuke is wonderful. It's industry standard for a reason. It's uh yeah, so something like this, right? This is what Nuke is. It's incredibly easy because if you want to change a transform, you don't need to go under layers and layers of stuff to reach a transform kind of function as you would in Premiere. But this one, you have access to everything affecting your final image, and it's so easy to organize. So if you have the program to learn it, I highly recommend learning it. It is superior to Adobe Premiere, in my opinion.
Oh, we all hate
Trashing
Adobe here.
Adobe.
Well, naturally.
Oh, we hate Adobe, yes.
Any other questions?
Hello. I
Hello.
So you talked about how you marketed yourself as someone who could learn programs easily, or like learn easily in general. In what way did you do that? Like, was it social media or was it like in person, like going to like events and stuff?
It's just for me, it's just experience. I went from only having illustration as my actual like work to show for. And at the time when I was getting into icon, I explained myself as somebody who's able to work in teams because of my experience working in zines and just being able to present good work. I know what an audience wants to see, right? And then during my time in icon is when I could finally say I learned how to do things quickly. I had to learn how to adapt styles very quickly if they wanted me on multiple shows. Because let's say if I worked on a show that's hyper realistic and I'm used to that show, not a lot of artists are capable of switching like in between styles. Sometimes one style leaks into the other, you know? But I am proud to say that I'm quite capable of switching styles in terms of 3D at least. And I used that to translate into Sony, which I then had to prove by crunching 5 days of katana. Yes.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Follow-up question to that is like if you can also like include that in your resume as like written, like
Oh
As-
yeah.
Is it like interviews? Like, at what points do you present that?
So interviews are just kind of a conversation, getting to know someone essentially, right? They're just getting to know you as a person, you're getting to know them as leaders. So yeah, just present yourself as uh someone good to work with. I think actually I should have added this in my slides. Uh I think they look for people who are good to work with above technical skills sometimes. Because here's the thing, if you're a very technical person, you're a tech whiz, you know all the programs inside out, you can code, all of that, easy, you're done. But if you can't work well in a team, if you're a know-it-all, if you're condescending to your teammates, no one wants to hire that, and work with that long term. So it's just about um, putting yourself out there as like a friend almost, just to get to know them as people. There's also a little underlying tone. I've had conversations with upper seniors about where they can almost tell when in an interview when they start almost begging for a job as opposed to just getting to know your teammates and your team leaders. There's a little underlying tone sometimes that could be felt. So it's really just about being a good team player because your skills can be taught. I think I've learned that very clearly. I think I'm a good example of that. I didn't know anything about Katana, which is Sony's main program. Skills can be taught. It's about how well you work with other people and learn from other people that they cannot teach from the get-go.
Well said.
Yeah.
Applicable to a lot of stuff. I feel
Mhm.
like.
Yeah. These are the insider secrets that are very important. Other questions?
So another question I had was, as someone who's like studying art at university and wants to get into the film industry, what do you think the most important skills to work on are?
I would say social skills above all else. It's it's a weirdly large amount of this job is networking. In order to get opportunities, it's about networking, put yourself out there, learning how to market yourself, learning how to connect with others. Um, and if you want, like even within like a team, a production line, you have to learn if you want like work in a higher position, say a senior or a director, you need to learn how to lead and just socialize with your team, encourage them, all of that. So social skills, I think, are an underrated skill, soft skill that people should learn. In terms of hard skills, though, it's just I can't speak for illustration myself as I haven't officially been under a company as an illustrator, but uh, fundamentals for sure. Fundamentals are everyone's best friend. And then just be cringe, be adventurous, you know, because they aren't only looking for you as a worker. Like I said earlier, they are looking for who you are as a person. Are you good to work with? Are you fun to work with? Um, what interests this person? What does this person do outside of their work time? Or are they only doing overtime like 24/7? Because there are some people like that. Not that they're bad, but there are some people like that. And they just want to know if you are that kind of person or if you are another kind of person, how would you fit into our team? So, yeah, I hope that answers it.
Any other last questions?
You have a favorite Huntrix member?
You can't say-
Zoe. I love Zoe. She's there's a few reasons for that. She's the very first character I got to light. And second, a little tidbit about myself. I cosplayed her this year, so that was very fun. Yes.
Any other final questions?
Very casual question. I have two casual questions. My first one is, what's your favorite topic in the sciences? Like, what's your favorite one? Is it like chem, bio, physics? Like, what's your favorite?
Oh, in STEM, my favorite, biology for sure.
Also, did you ever meet the director of K-pop? The director or like art director? I don't know.
Sorry, you kind of muted out there.
Did you ever meet the director of K-pop Demon Hunters? Or like her husband? 'Cause I know her husband did keep.
No, not personally. I did not. Yeah, during the times she did come to Vancouver, I happened to be working from home. So that was very unfortunate. But yeah, uh, just from my friends who have met her, she's a lovely person, and I think her husband put this perfectly. When you watch K-pop Demon Hunters, you kind of know Maggie as a person, down to her humor, the references, the acting, the story, the style. That's Maggie. So I think that's very telling of how kind and how creative she is as a person.
That's so sweet. Oh, let's ask about what this is our like question we ask everyone, but what other media are you into right now?
Mm-hmm.
Media as in like shows, games, whatever.
Games.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Uh, I've been getting back into some manga and anime. Has anyone heard of Gachi Akata?
Yes.
Yes. There's that one. Dandadan's another one. Aside from that, I used to be a very big Hoyoverse gamer. I should get back into that.
That's where oomph.
Yes. Yes. Oomph. Yes, I should get back into it. The new region looks amazing. Aside from that, movies. Ooh. My favorite movie from this year would be Sinners. If anyone hasn't seen that yet, yes. Oh my God. You need to see it.
So peak.
Whoever hasn't seen Sinners, go see it as soon as you can. It's incredible. Still my movie of the year so far. Uh, Other than that, other media. I like listening to K-pop. It's like, uh, yeah. I'd say that's about all I'm into recently.
Don't
Yes.
say that. It's because you have a life.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mentioned.
I feel like we got to know a lot about you, and I'm very grateful that everyone had lots of wonderful questions. You guys all asked really great questions, and you answered them perfectly. Thank
Yes.
you. This is really a great speaker event. Yeah.
Yay!
Round of applause.
Thank you for having me.
Is there any way that if any like members wanted to maybe contact you, do you have a preferred way that people might contact you through either like
Yeah, I could share my presentation again just to go back to, yep, here we go. If it could, yes, there we go. So I am at Chayar on most platforms, social media. Other than that, there is my website and my email. You are free to contact me whenever, and I will try my best to help.
Thank you so much. We'll also like send out an announcement with that so you can click on that.
yeah, in case you missed it, we'll put that. Thank you so much again.
Yes, thank you everyone for
Thank
your
you.
time. We're not over time.
Yay!
Everyone cheer.
Hope you have a good
Yeah.
rest of your night.